today to give back to a sport that's given me so much in my life. Wrestling is actually the greatest sport in the world, and it will prepare you the best out of anything to prepare you for life. I didn't realize it when I was wrestling, but as you get older, you realize sometimes life's going to throw you to your back. And it's going to be how you respond at that time when you're on your back, what's going to make the difference in your life. And I came here today to basically dare you to dream, to dare you to believe in yourself, to dare you to give everything you got to the sport, and to see what happens. I did when I was your age, and it would happen to be the most valuable thing I ever did in my life. And I just wanted to tell you a quick story about my wrestling story, my short wrestling career, and my long wrestling time after, the long time after wrestling. When I was in 6th grade, there was a coach who was my social studies teacher, became a first-year wrestling coach. His name was Joe Hurley. Never wrestled a day in his life. He asked me to come out to the team. I didn't know anything about wrestling. His way of telling me to come out to the team was to match me up first day against the most experienced wrestler, a kid named Butch Jenk. Mean, strong, physical kid, and he put us in a match. And I had no idea how to wrestle. And I remember after the match, my arms were exploding, my chest was on fire, my lip was bleeding, my lip was fat, and I just wanted to run. I just wanted to walk away. And he came up to me after the match, and it was like, for him, it was like a totally different outcome. I just got killed. And for him, it was like, you know, I see something in you that is special. And he says, he made me believe in myself before I even believed in myself at the time. And from that point on, he dared me to dream. And I remember it was the first year at Packer. The walls in the gym were bare. There was nothing in the gym at all. Nothing hanging on the walls. And I remember the first time we were in the gym, he basically looked up and he just said, "Would you use some championship banners on these walls?" So that became my first goal. And he taught us how to wrestle. The first thing he taught us how to do was to dream and to believe. He knew nothing about wrestling. He knew everything about dreaming and believing. So he instilled that dream, that belief in us. And then he taught us how to wrestle. We went undefeated for the first 2 years at Packer. We got a banner on the wall. I remember leaving Packer and saying to myself, you know what? I could be a league champion. And after a couple of weeks of thinking about being a league champion, I said to myself, you know what? I could probably be a county champion if I really dedicated myself to it. And after a couple of weeks of saying to myself, you know what? I could probably be a state champion. Okay, so I started dedicating myself to going out for those big time goals. We had no reason to believe those type of goals. As Tony said, our varsity program hadn't won a match in 10 years. What Tony didn't tell you is they hadn't scored a team point in 10 years. They hadn't won one match, not the overall match, one match in the matches for 10 years. But then we got a new head coach, Dan Nolan, and he made the chemistry. He made it about being a family. He made it about being teammates. He made it about, we would do anything for him. We would run through a brick wall for him. And then again, so by the time I was my sophomore year, I did become league champion. That was a magical year. Our team became so good, we had no right to be as good as we were. We were beating teams that we had no right to be on the mat with. We beat a team that was ranked 5th in the county at the time. It was one of the most magical moments. If Floyd could put all the moments together, take out football, and he put all the magical moments together, this had to be one of the most magical. North Babylon was ranked 5th in the county at the time. We were nobodies. We were nobodies for a long time. We hadn't won a match, like I said, for the longest time. We needed a pin to come down to the last match, and one of the Kazanecki brothers pinned. We won, and it was like unbelievable. There was no internet at the time. Nobody knew about it, but for us, it was just like such a special moment. It was just unreal. And then the belief started to really compound at that time. We started believing. I won my league title that year. I started saying to myself, I could dedicate myself. I'll work twice as hard. I'll put in twice as much time. Made the sacrifice, gave up things. Put in an unbelievable amount of time. And then I got hurt. And I did not accomplish my dreams. And I left the sport hating the sport. I mean, I vowed never to let my kids wrestle. There was no way they were possibly going to go through the pain that I went through by committing 6 years to a sport and getting absolutely nothing out of it. 26 years go by. Never wanted anything to do with the sport. And then I started realizing how much the sport gave back to me that I never realized before. 26 years later, I am happily married, 4 kids. My oldest daughter's 19, came back from college, comes home from work one day. Goes up to her room, me and my wife are watching TV, and we hear a thud. And we do what everyone else does at that time when you hear something in your house and you have no idea where it is. You check outside, you check the garage, you make sure nobody's robbing the house. We do all that. A couple of seconds later, another thud. What we didn't realize was the first thud was my daughter going into a seizure and hitting into a closet door. And she fell into a closet door. The second thud was the closet door unhinging and hitting the floor. So we rushed to the hospital. They induced her into a coma to protect her brain. And we spent the next 141 days at her bedside doing everything we possibly could do in order to keep her alive and fight for her. While doctors are telling us, you have no shot, you should give up. The odds are extraordinary. You will never beat this. That's when the wrestler in me came out. I played football, and like I said, there were me and people on our team. Tony said, there were football players, there were baseball players, there were soccer players. I played football. I've never considered myself a football player. I played baseball. To this day, I don't consider myself a baseball player. I consider myself a wrestler. And wrestlers know how to fight. And wrestlers know how to go out there and face an opponent bigger than you and do everything you can to win, no matter what the odds are. And that's what wrestling is about. It's about becoming the best version of yourself. It's going out there. Every person in here, if they live long enough, unfortunately, life is going to throw you to your back. There's nothing you can do about it. Somebody's going to get sick. There's going to be a diagnosis, a death, a divorce, some sort of loss in your life. And you need to overcome that. And you need to reach down. And you need to persevere. And you need to never quit. And you need to bond together with your teammates. When you leave the sport of wrestling, life is now your opponent. And your teammates are your family. And you got to do anything for them. So it took me 26 years to understand what this sport is about. It is not about state championships. My son won a state championship. I'd much rather him be a great person and pursue being that type of person in his life. Okay? When you're wrestling, you think it's about going out there and pursuing a tournament championship, a county champion, a state champion, a national champion. And you have to believe it's about that. Okay? Because if you don't believe it's about that, you'll never go through the pain and torture. You never learn the lessons that you're going to need. You have to understand, wrestling is about preparing you for life. There's nobody other than your parents who are going to prepare, nothing, they're going to prepare you better for life than the sport of wrestling. You're going to need to be at your best when you're at your worst. You ever not eat for a couple of days? You need to have the energy, right? You ever suck weight and feel like garbage and then have to go out and wrestle? Well, that's life, right? You ever have to feel that you've given everything you've got, you have nothing left, but then you realize you have so much more work left to do? That's life, right? You ever have to go out on a mat knowing that the person out there is bigger and stronger than you, and you still have to try to win? Right? That's life. All those situations, your will has to come out. And the only way your will comes out is if you believe in yourself, and you believe, and you have confidence, and you dream. Now, when you dream, your life, everything in the world starts happening to make that dream come true. Everything. Like I said, when we started to set goals, and when we were in high school, we set goals, everything started to break our way. Okay? And then, sometimes you need to persevere. Dreams just don't happen. They don't happen all the time. You fail. You're going to learn more from your failures. Right? When you wrestle, every single time you lose, you inspect why you lost. You make adjustments. You go out there and you make adjustments. You work harder. You dedicate yourself some more. You don't just do the same thing over and over again. Same thing in life. You go out there and you make adjustments. You don't stop. You keep dreaming. And when you dream big, magic happens. Because you have to reach down to your full resources in order for you to become the best version of yourself. You're never going to get anything by dreaming small and not having dreams. The part of the dream is pursuing the dream. That's what makes you the best version of yourself. So whether you never won a match in your high school career or you won a national championship in your high school career, you have to go out there and become the best version of yourself. Everyone's best version is different. Some guy's best version may be a national champion. Some guy's best version may be to make the team. But when you become the best version of yourself, you find yourself. You realize what you're about. So when you need it the most, you have those resources available. You know how hard you worked. You know what you put in. You know the dedication, the sacrifices, what you've done, and you earn it. And you realize that what you go out there for and you fight for, you're never going to give up on your dreams. And my dream, like I said, was to get my daughter back to a full capacity. It's been 10 years. We're still fighting that dream. But like I said before, I'm a wrestler, and every day we fight. The wrestlers know how to fight, and they know how to win. And that, to me, is the reason I wanted to be here tonight, to give back to you guys. To let you know, dream big, pursue those dreams, give everything you've got in those dreams. And funny, because the rewards you think you're going to get from this sport are not the rewards you're going to get. They're going to be much, much different. I never got to step on a podium for 6 seconds to get my hand raised as a county or national champion or state champion. Instead, I got something much, much greater. I got a lifestyle. I got a way to live life. I could have had 6 seconds on a podium or 40 years off the mats living a lifestyle that made my life the best it could possibly be. And that's what wrestling is about.